In this problem, we need to determine the taxable earnings subject to federal unemployment tax. The problem reads, a business employs 3 individuals whose taxable earnings to date prior to the current pay period are $12,200, $5,250, and $3,000. During the current pay period, these employees earn $2,400, $2,000, and $1,350 respectively. Taxable earnings subject to FUTA tax is. The approach to this problem is to lay out the pay for each employee, and there are 3, so we will label each as employee 1, employee 2, and employee 3. The prior year-to-date pay for each employee is given in the problem, so let's write those down, as well as the current pay, which is also given. Then we add the prior year-to-date to the current pay, and we arrive at the current year-to-date. What we need to do is compare the current year-to-date to the FUTA tax threshold of $7,000. The reason is that taxable earnings above the threshold will not be subject to FUTA tax. Then we want to see how much of the current year-to-date earnings is over or under the threshold. Employee 1 has current year-to-date earnings of $14,600, which is $7,600 over the threshold. It is significantly over. As a result, possibly the earnings was already over the threshold in a prior period. And we could check this by comparing the amount over the threshold of $7,600 to the current pay of $2,400, and since it is significantly over, it actually results in a negative value here. And when we take the current pay of $2,400 minus the $7,600, this confirms that the earnings was over the threshold in the prior period, and hence, this period, the taxable earnings subject to FUTA tax is 0. Employee 2 has current year-to-date earnings of $7,250, and that is $250 over the threshold, so we want to exclude the $250 from the current pay of $2,000 because $250 of the $2,000 is not subject to FUTA tax. Now, employee 3, current year-to-date earnings is $4,350, which is under the threshold of $7,000 by $2,650. It is way under the threshold, so the full amount of the current paid is taxable, and that is $1,350, the full amount of the current pay. After we obtain the taxable earnings subject to FUTA tax for all 3 employees, we sum it up to equal $3,100 as the total taxable earnings subject to FUTA tax, and that's the solution to this problem.